It's gorgeous out. Let's pop some ducks.
This is the Upduck Podcast, a blend of upland and waterfowl hunting. Tune in as your hosts, Tyler Beaton, Jeff Ludicky, Matt Jeske, chat about training dogs and share their bird hunting stories, tactics, and strategies.
Matt Jeske.
Good evening. Not much.
Just being you tonight. No Jeff. We kicked him out.
Yep. Retriever talk.
Yep. Retriever talk. We kicked him to the curb. Said no pointer guys allowed in this one. So that's not true. That is not true. It's been a while. We've rescheduled this a couple of times with guests and things. So we do have this. So this is sort of something new we're going to try tonight, though, where we're going to try to do. We're going to bring in, if this works, and we'll need feedback from listeners here, but talking about like a real world, like real life hunting scenario case study. And like taking the training piece, applying it to the field, like, or something you see in the field, bringing it back to the training field, right? So we can constantly work on our dogs and improve our dogs and just give our dogs more skills and tools and just do their job better, right? Because then, you know, when you're with your buddies, it's awesome when your dog is just slaying out in the field, picking up all the birds. It's also, that's a really nice source of pride. It's also just really cool to watch too. So that's kind of the plan. Yeah, should be interesting. It should be fun. So Matt, what are we talking about tonight? What are we talking about tonight with our first case study, real world case study?
Yeah, I think we talked about discussing the standards of your fall field hunting versus maybe what you have to bring back in spring and work on, because those might be two very different standards with your hunting dog.
Yeah. Yes. 100%. So, and we're talking specifically blind retrieves tonight on that piece, right? Where blind retrieve, if you're new to this game, right? That's your dog is not seeing the bird fall. You are lining them up. You are sending them in a direction toward where that bird fell. You can blow the whistle. They sit down, or they stop. We'll just say stop. Not everybody requires your dog to sit. And then you cast them with your hands in various directions until they get to the bird and they pick it up and they bring it back. And life is wonderful and joyous. So, yeah. Standards in the fall. So what do you mean by standards in the fall, though, Matt? What happens in the fall when you're hunting with Maggie, right?
Yeah. Picking up the bird is the number one priority and always has been. That goes above my GoPro filming and my dog standards in the field.
Okay. All right.
Number one's getting the bird back.
Are you where are most of the birds falling for you? Are you dropping them?
It depends on where I am. So if I'm in my boat on the river, most of my stuff is pretty much right out in front of me in a decoy spread with her and her dog on the dog door. Most of the time, if it's out front, it's a pretty obvious splash. So it ends up not being one. The only time that we end up running blinds is, maybe I shoot one behind me and I can either send her from the boat or I get out with her and get her in the general direction and just send her on a literal, 20-yard or less blind if I don't feel like walking over there. Sure. The other chance would be there's an instance last year with my dad that the current was super strong. We put one behind us and one in front of us, and the ones going down the river, like I literally got out of the boat with her and ran together the bank and sent her on a blind out because I didn't want her swimming 80 or 100 yards as the bird continues to move down in water that was super strong. It's just, I know she probably could do it, but like, why? The birds are flying. There was more happening. Like, it was just to go pick it up. If it's in the marsh by me, we're talking really small sloughs and stuff. So 50-50 if it's hitting water, the rest of it's in cattails. So that's either walking her out and doing just to hunt them up, or, if I've got a really good eye on it or something, then I don't need to move and can just send her on a short blind. So not long blind work during the fall.
Yeah. They're talking like what, 20, 30, 40 yards most of the time.
Yeah. Probably 20 is an average. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Is our is she seeing most of the birds hit the water? Like, is she actually seeing it and marking it, or are most of your birds blind retrieves?
In the boat, it's probably 50-50 if it's in front of me or behind me. It just depends on where we're set up. But if it's in front of me, like thinking I didn't take that boat out this many times this year, but she sees like 80% of the ones in front.
Okay.
Just because like I've got her tied out, but her head can sit right laying on the edge of the boat, basically. So if it's out in front of her, like there's a pretty strong chance she's going to at least see that one.
Sure.
In the marsh, though, like we started talking about before the call, I have her in a mow marsh, fully grassed. Only the front is zipped open. She's tied out on that as well. I'm more worried about us being seen than her seeing it. So I'd rather just have her there to pick it up somehow than have her see it necessarily. I think next year, I've already thought about this though, especially when the cattail grass is like fine. I might, because I know it's fine, I've seen it done plenty of times, go without the hut on the top and see if I can do more, use her marking ability and her nose than running blinds and stuff. Because then you're not, for me, if you're out with a group and you're blowing your whistle and like, other birds are around it, yeah, I can walk her out to the spot, but especially on really easy, 20-yard splashes, if she could see it left or right, it would be much, much easier to have her pick those up. So I've been contemplating doing that, especially the first half of the season.
Yeah, that's great. That's a good idea. Yeah. And it's interesting how you can, take what you're seeing and make changes and make tweaks to put your dog in a better situation, right? And it puts you in a better situation because you're a hardcore duck hunter. Like you are there to kill some birds. Yeah. And you do. I mean, you killed a lot of birds last year.
I did.
Maggie picked up a lot of birds too.
Yeah.
Right. So you're running like 20-yard blind retrieves.
Yep.
And then like compare that to like training though. Like, what are you running in training?
100. Like minimum of 60 to 120. It just depends on the property that we're at, or if we're with the group or not, or whatever it happens to be. Yeah. So definitely not 20. Yeah. It'd be hard to even, practice that because, you'd have to shove her in a blind and throw a docking or something and then, try to line her up from that. It'd be interesting. There's still a lot of nose work. I think we started talking about in the fall versus, if she starts sniffing during training, like immediately sitting her and getting her to do what I want her to do. Not, we're not freelancing out there.
Yeah. And right. Because I mean, you're running blind retrieves, but you're not always looking at the bird, right? It is like you're like, hey, it fell right over there behind in that patch of
towards that tall cattail. Yeah.
That really tall cattail. I know I stoned it and it dropped over there. Yep. I'm not walking through that. This is what my dog is for, right? I don't want to be, getting cut up by cattails. I'm gonna send my dog, right? Dead bird, good, back, right? And she swims out into the cat. You're just getting her to that area, and then the nose kicks in, right? And then training is, hey, if the nose goes down, when I say dead bird, good, back, if the nose goes down,
whistle,
whistle, stop, right? Yeah. And like purpose, intent wise, why are we doing it that way?
Because you work for me, and I didn't want you to stop yet. So
and you want her to carry that momentum too, right?
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I'm a big talker, right? Like you're supposed to send your dog, and they're supposed to go in the same direction until forever until you're told to stop. But I mean, Maggie's smarter than me, and ever smarter than a dog I ever thought would be. So like, she knows where we're training. So it's either going to be past this berm or it's going to be short of it, but how far past it? So she knows like there's a 50% chance if I cross this berm, like I'm going to be in the right spot. So then you see her start sniffing. Like she's smart, as most dogs are, but yeah, you got to be smarter than them.
Yeah.
Still get them to do what you want them to do.
Yeah. But you want her though to practice carrying that momentum for that 100 yards.
Yeah, she's still supposed to keep going. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. In the event that you have to run a blind that long in the field, right? Most of the time, I mean, obviously you're a stone cold.
My longest ones have been pheasant. My longest ones have been pheasant hunting, honestly. So
yeah,
out in some open field last year. I mean, that was the only example I could think of. And yeah, I think part of that though is like I hunted for so long without a dog. I'm so conservative on like I want my ducks right here before I kill them. Granted, now with the dog, I've gotten a little more like, yeah, if there's a lot of tall grass behind me, like I have no problem shooting because we're going to find it. It's not a matter of if you're going like, but it's still in my head of like it's got to be kind of close. I don't want both of us to work that hard if I could wait one more pass or whatever. Like they're gonna get closer.
Sure.
So
sure. Yeah. But it's interesting, right? Like the more you hunt, right, and the more you're like conditioning your dog over the course of the season to run a 20-yard blind and to rely on their nose.
Yeah.
And
then
first
you couple times in training in spring, it was pretty rough. Nose goes down real soon. You know, even you'll notice it even in like an open field, right? Like if you're not using white bumpers and you're just sending to orange bumpers on like a super open, like at our fairgrounds, like the amount of times early on that they like slow down to their normal, like, oh, that was 50. That was really far for winter when we were training. And it's like, no, it's way back that way, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And then you also, I mean, you don't do a ton of pheasant hunting, but you also pheasant hunter a little bit too, which is all nose, right? And like we're basically over the course of the season conditioning our dogs to use their nose more to hunt as opposed to use their eyes to mark. And so like that nose becomes the predominant thing. And then you get back to training and we want to train to use their eyes to see the birds fall and to work with us. Right. And that's like, there's like a chasm there between like training and hunting and like applying the stuff that we do in training to hunting. Cause she's got to be able to like pick up like that really long blind in the event that something happens.
Right.
You know, you sail one, right? Whatever, you know, whatever it is. And so you got to train for that. And then, you know, hopefully all your blinds are 20 yards again. And that's really the difference, right? It's like looking at it as, you know, over the course of the season, our dog's skills erode. I mean, I pheasant hunted a lot in December with Mac, and man, for the first like 2 months of training this year, like he was not very good at marking, which is just using their eyes, right? Like he's pulling up short, and then there's drag back scent from other dogs in training, and he's using his nose and just hunting his way into it. It's like, that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
There's not drag back scent when you're out duck hunting. Like you're not dropping ducks in the same spot.
Yeah.
So, you know, but it's a thing that like, you know, maybe you see with your own dog too. You know, as like, and there's other things that happen through the course of the hunting season too, where you got to come back and take a look at your dog and what do you want them to do? What do you want them to be able to do versus what they're doing in the field? What does that gap look like? And then how do we build back? How do you build your dog back to what skills you want them to have so they can just pick the birds that you have in your on your the hunts that you're actually doing.
Yep.
So it's good. It's interesting. It's really, really fascinating. I think like as we do more of these episodes, if they're good, if people actually like them, we're gonna pull in like a real world, like a real life example, like, hey, this is what happened on this hunt. This is what our dogs did. And I think we can do that with upland. We can do that with waterfowl too, which is really, really cool. So, did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
Did it explain? Did it come out clearly? I have no idea. The rambling here. So,
yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. What do you so like where you've been training a little bit with Maggie?
Yeah, not nearly as much as between new job and like just stuff getting back in the swing from vacation like a month ago still. You know, we've been busy on weekends, so that's been hard. So I try to get like just a morning session in the weekend before we go out and do something else. Group training's been kind of hit or miss. I've been trying he said he's been doing some group training, so I try to go to those like weeknights. And I totally meant to go like this morning and got up and read and had to get to work, so it just didn't happen. Now it's gonna be, I think, heat advisory for the next 3 days, so that's not great for any time of the day. I think next week I'm gonna try to get her in the water though. There's a place we can go get her to swim. Maybe Sunday morning we'll go to group training potentially. So it's been hit or miss. I mean, I feel kind of bad because I know she's kind of at the age where like she's never going to test again. She's kind of on autopilot, but I still want to have her like, certainly fit and ready to go for September. So that's kind of where we're at. I'm not teaching anything new or crazy, just working on handling and stuff that like just the sharpness, like we just kind of talked about.
Yeah. And that's really the biggest thing. You want it to be crisp on opening day.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Where would you assess she is at now compared to like when you started this training? We'll call it training season.
She's definitely cleaned up now, quite a bit. We did have, I did some handling stuff a couple weeks ago, but then that required a couple more sessions just because it was the first time we kind of went back to like drill work, which I could definitely do more of, and I just kind of dropped the ball most of the time. So I definitely could because it's pretty short. Like there's like almost no setup except for throwing out a couple piles of bumpers and just handling through some stuff. But I just need to make more time.
Yeah, you and me both.
Yeah,
I used to run it. Drills used to be my like you do a lot of solo training. It's like, well, I could try to do all this stuff with wingers or I could run some drills and we could be really sharp on all the little things. So,
exactly.
I'm like not doing that at all.
Yeah,
but that's life. So
yeah.
No, that's good. I mean, I think how old is Maggie now?
She'll be 7 in 2 weeks.
7 in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, she's had a lot of hunting seasons. Like, like you said, you're not trying to advance her skills. You're not doing tests. No.
I can read her. I know exactly what's going to happen before it happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And you also know where she's at now and the work she needs to get her to where you want her to for opening day for September. So, like you'll put in the necessary time
right
to get her there. So, it's, and that comes with experience though, too. Like, and just age of your dog.
Right.
Experience of your dog, experience of you as a handler though, too, and what you want your dog to be able to do. So,
right.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. It's good. What did I miss?
I don't think anything on the blind side.
No, I don't think so either. It's good. It's interesting. Give us some feedback. Let us know. I mean, let us know. These are going to be a little bit shorter episodes. We'll try to mix them in here and there, and again, give more of those specific examples. And it'll be fun to do it like during the season. Like, hey, this actually happened. This is like the concept.
It'll be easier when it's fresh.
Correct. Yeah. As opposed to like 7-8 months old. So
well, now you can say just 2.5 months from season.
Ooh, that's true.
So it's coming. About that. Yeah,
it's coming really fast. I've got to really execute on a couple of things here. So I've got to get some stuff taken care of and crossed off the list. I'm talking dog wise, just getting ready for season. So it's coming good.
Yep.
Okay. Excellent. I think we could probably wrap it up with that. Good stuff. I'll say it again for the third time. Let us know what you think of this style of episode. Like, shoot us a message on social media, reach out to us any way you can. Let us know what you think. Or if you like it and you got a topic you want us to cover on this thing that maybe you had, like, well, let's talk about it. So this is fun stuff. We love dogs here on this podcast, so let's talk about dogs a little bit more and specific stuff. Outside of that, peace out, everybody. Have a great night, evening, morning, whenever you listen to this, and we will chat with you next week.